we're going to keep the energy super, super, super high. We introduced her before, but please make a very warm welcome to Moxie Delite.
Thank you so much, Ebony. Hi, everyone. So my name is Moxie Delite, and I'm here to tell you a story of community resistance. So I'll get into that in a minute. But yes, to introduce me, hello. I am a drag and burlesque performer. So just a quick bracket umbrella definition that I pretty much go by. Drag is characterized by lip syncing. It's a queer art form characterized by lip syncing and over-the-top makeup, hair, costume, whatnot. I'm a drag queen and a drag king, so drag queens usually take on more of a female character, drag kings take on more of a male character, masculine character, and I'm also a burlesque performer where the performance is characterized by striptease, so taking off items of clothing in a very enticing, fabulous, sexy way. So, all right. I'm also an events producer. This is me here, actually. So I specialize in putting together events that are mask mandatory, events that are more COVID conscious. We have air purifiers and masks in our events, so then we all enter under the agreement that we all want to keep each other safe, don't want to increase any transmissions of COVID. Thank you. Anyways, I also really like underground niche alternative stuff, really freaky stuff, if you couldn't tell. And I like to platform people who aren't as represented in the mainstream. So I like a lot of freaky deaky people. Yeah, thank you. All right. All right, drag queen on stage. I need to address the elephants in the room, okay? What I'm not. Trying to indoctrinate your kids. So, unless those kids are those fuckers who play the music out on the public transport, then I don't care what you do with the kids. I don't care what you do. Unless they're those kind of kids who play the music out loud, then I don't care. Anyways, I'm not performing inappropriately in front of your children. So, just like actors, drag performers, we adjust our performance for the context and the audience. So, you're not going to see someone who usually does R-rated films gutting and killing people in front of kids at a G-rated movie. Just like you're not going to be seeing me doing burlesque at a kids' show. So, a costume, yes and no. So, quick definition. So, drag is what I do, but trans is who I am. What I mean by that is that the drag, all of this comes off at the end of the day. It is a costume, but I'm also a transgender woman, and that does not come off at the end of the day. So there's a bit of a distinction there. Oh, thank you. Oh, so flattered. All right. So I'm also not the is-all and be-all of drag, burlesque, and queer history. So this little talk was brought about because I am also a uni student this year. And I took on a history assignment where I was researching local queer nightlife and how we survived throughout the odds, because it's been a bit of a bumpy ride. I've been doing this for about 7-ish years, which in drag is very old. Yeah, I've been around the block a few times as people who know more than I do, but here I am telling you about what I know. So, what does a thriving queer nightlife scene look like, do you all ask? So let's get into it at the start of our timeline. So, let's... Yes, we all recognise the Ruth Paul. So, queer nightlife boom, we're going to start around the 2010s when RuPaul's Drag Race began airing in 2009. So, for those of you who don't know, RuPaul's Drag Race is a competition television reality TV series. I said TV like 3 times. Featuring a bunch of drag queens who compete in different tasks, and at the end they get like a cash prize if they win. Also in 2010, the Burlesque movie was released, featuring Christina Aguilera and Cher. But the Burlesque movie was very much like this nightclub that featured a lot of raunchy dancing, not actual burlesque, but we'll get into it. This was a fabulous boom of queer nightlife around this time. So I talked to a queer nightlife legend, Mama Natalia, who ran a few venues in her lifetime and was saying that around the burlesque movie was released, she would rake in about $50,000 from the venue on the weekend from the high demand of burlesque. It was a big fucking thing. And the same thing can be said for drag. Like, when it started, it was more of an underground thing with 1 to 2 venues. Then it started to ramp up and started to get very exciting. The demand was there. I also talked to a few people who were able to get a lot of consistent collaborations with councils. So a lot of people back in the day would be like, hey, I have this idea, council, can you give me money and I'll do it? And because there wasn't such a big scary around queer people, they were like, great, I'll do a workshop for you. I'll put on a show with you. Like, it was a much more consistent form of income. Speaking of consistent, we also had semi-regular gigs. So that meant like the gigs were more streamlined. You could start here, make your way over to here, go to this show here. This show was on tomorrow. Like, it was much more streamlined, much more consistent audience. And we also had a thriving and vibrant fringe scene because social media didn't absolutely fuck us. You know, back in the day when we could just hand out a flyer and say who was at the show, people would be butts on seats, essentially. Promoting a show is a much more tricky business nowadays. So, wonderful, wonderful time, taking advantage of the boom. And then everything went to shit. All right. So can anyone guess what happened in 2016? Not that kind of talk, but I love the enthusiasm. All right. It gets a bit heavy in this next part. Rabies, yeah. Anyways, so pretty heavy stuff right now. So because of Drag Race, burlesque, like, we had a huge boom in the industry, but we also had a lot of pinkwashing, meaning that a lot of queer art forms were taken on by mainstream and bigger corporations and made to be turned into a profit, sanitized, turned into something that was a standard of polish that was informed by expensiveness and just much more like less queer, more marketable kind of thing. That meant a lot of people were left out of a lot of the bigger stages. There was also this very, very big thing where neo-Nazis and far-right extremist groups were emboldened around this time with you know, Trump 2016 and also just lockdown, all that, made a bunch of people even more bad. So, so there were some really, really awful times where some drag performers would be, you know, doing their work, doing a drag story time, doing like a performance in front of a queer family, and they'd have neo-Nazis rock up with banners and megaphones spewing off some wild, hateful shit. And I've been in close contact with a few of these people who have been doxxed, removed from their houses. Horrible, horrible stuff, right? There was also COVID. You know, we know about that. But yeah, the venue struggled to stay open and it wasn't a good time. A lot of us couldn't work because the venues weren't open. We're essentially contractors as drag performers and burlesque performers, so really there wasn't really much to fall back on. Also, interesting thing that I heard from somebody else was that arts funding is selective. So I was like, all right, I got to see about that. I got to look into where's the funding going to. So I pulled this up for us all. Oh, Art Sustainability Fund 2021 to 2022. This is small text, but I'll read it out for you. The ballet, the orchestra, the theatre, contemporary arts, dramatic arts, opera, ballet. Did I say contemporary art? But no shade to these people. Like, it's fabulous that the arts was, you know, tried to stay afloat for some of these people, but a lot of people that I talked to, especially people who own venues, were using their day jobs to keep the venues open. If you weren't registered for GST, you couldn't get relief. So we were all kind of there thinking, like, fuck my drag, right? For those who get it, get it. But this is Kenley Davenport from RuPaul's Drag Race, and she famously says, fuck my drag, right? But yeah, a lot of the councils were really scared by a lot of the protests from the far-right people. We're too scared to collaborate with queer people anymore. Lots of places were protested, drag performers, death threats, doxing, horrible shit. So fuck my drag, right? So what happens after this? I hear you all asking, right? Thank you, yeah. All right, so we got to go from somewhere. So let's start around the post-lockdown recovery. So performances moved online, actually, and we were performing to Instagram Live, Facebook Live, Zoom, bitch. Like it was dire, but people were producing like music videos and shit. It was great. But also people famously were like getting tips to perform in like driveways at a COVID-safe distance. It was a really like creatively funky era. I do want to talk about this event here, Lip Sync Roulette, for a bit. So this event, the performers would perform every Sunday on Facebook Live. And, the performers would get money. They also collaborated with other creators to create their own custom COVID masks. And some of those profits went to local venues. This show and the person behind it, Carla Moxie, assisted in keeping up to 4 venues up and running during this hard time. It's wild, wild stuff. Fabulous show over here also, performing in a park, loves it. But yeah, so from there we had to shift our tactics. So how do we run all ages shows while not having Nazis trying to kill us? How do we fund our shows without councils backing us up? We have to go independent. We have to fundraise, we need to shift our aesthetics because the standard of drag is so high now and the standard of burlesque is so high now. Like, how do we shift this according to a different audience? And also advertisement. So it's no longer just like, say who's going to be at the show, people show up. It's now like content. It's photo shoots and reels. So that paired with diversifying our income streams and whatnot, like we really need to pick up the pace and figure out how we're going to make this work because we can't just, It gets better. Yay. Yeah, all right, so it gets better. 2022 onwards. So fundraiser shows are a fabulous new thing, not new, but new-ish, where a bunch of people will dedicate their time to performing for one person. Usually this is for a gender affirmation surgery or even keeping people afloat in times of strife. There also came a time where there were more empowering services and voices for people of colour. So a lot of people of colour got the brunt of the bad end of the stick with, a lot of these far-right causes coming up. And now there are like more services and more representation and, we're not kicked to the back of the room anymore, which is really fabulous. Fight's still there, but it's better. There's safer organising of all ages events, so there's a lot of queer families and queer kids that want the representation, but we need things like the Rainbow Community Angels who form a safe entrance to a library, for example, for a drag story time that make events so much safer for queer youth and just queer families who want to celebrate their queer kids. There's now COVID-safe live shows, so one of the people who is leading this is Randy Roy, who's been doing some fabulous mask mandatory events around NAM, and you know what? They're always fucking sold out, so like there's got to be something in that. I mean, I personally see how it's very beneficial to the disabled community and people like me, so I love it, I'm all for it, and I do it too. And now there's a show for everyone. Y'all might say oversaturated, but truly there is something for everyone. Things aren't as consistent as they used to be, but there is something weird going on anywhere at all times. So literally, I had a look, and there's like a show out there for like queer Asian sex workers. There's one that's a variety show based on Dungeons and Dragons. There's one that's only drag kings. There is a night that I'm producing called Outlast, which is a queer wrestling night where you can watch drag shows and then you can come on stage and wrestle your bestie. It's really but more on that soon, all right? So I think that we are doing what we can. We're doing great. Now I hear you all ask. Thank you, yeah. So, hot, sexy shows in your area. So I've just put together this little highlight that I'll keep adding to on my socials. That's just basically like any and all shows that I see, basically. So anything that I see, there is like a Florence and the Machine show going on right now. There's a wild October Halloween, like immersive theater show going on. There's some wild stuff going on. There's basically, and I'll just keep adding to this because truly, like, Drag Race, it's got all the love in the world, but our local shows are in need of love. Our arts are not to be left behind. They are a necessity. So, but yeah, more on Outlast, the event I'm producing in collaboration with Melbourne Wranglers. That's also here. And there's a sneaky little discount for all of you who came here if you want to come. So in the next link, you'll be able to look at that and maybe you can come. But other than that, thank you so much for listening.
All right, we can be louder than that. Come on. I'll get you to come over here. Give us like a... All right, who has questions for Moxie? I'm sure there's heaps in the audience. More about wrestling your besties.
So if you go to Outlast Wrestling on Instagram, there's a page that's dedicated to this night, and you can sign up and wrestle your bestie in front of people. So it's really fun. The first one was really cool, so highly recommend. What do you have to wear? You can wear whatever you want to. Yeah.
Ooh, a question in the middle there. A lot of wrestling questions, is there jelly?
There is no jelly, but maybe an idea for next time.
Yeah, maybe submit that request. Yes, over here.
What's your favourite drag or burlesque event coming out of this Fringe season?
Ooh, what is your favourite drag or burlesque event happening this Fringe season?
Fringe season.
Fringe? Yeah.
So
it's over the next couple of weeks.
I'm going to be so honest with you. Like, I've been not...
Maybe we can change the question and say in Melbourne in the next couple of months.
Right. I'm so oversaturated with gigs everywhere, and especially Fringe. I'm just like... but there's a fabulous show that I was a part of a few weeks ago called Whoop-De-Doo, and basically there's burlesque performers and perform in front of a live band, and it's really cool. It's really cool. But other than that... Go-Go Bum Time is also very good, as I've heard. Thank you. Go-Go Bum Time is Melbourne Fringe, right? Yes, it is. No, the other Fringe shows that I didn't get a chance to see them. So the Fuppets, like a sexy burlesque Muppets show.
Ooh, some fans over there.
I missed out on that, but yeah. I've just been oversaturated that I just kind of swipe past them. I'm really bad. I'm sorry.
Any other questions for Moxie? Yes. Ooh, this is such a good question. Who is your favourite drag race queen?
Who's my favourite drag race?
Also, we've got categories. So international, we need some thinking time. We need like a clock sound, like doot, 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 doot. I like this audience tonight. You guys are fun.
There's just so many, girl. Like... Maybe Trixie, like, yeah.
An Aussie one?
Down Under. No, wait, hold on. No. The drag performance in
No
the
hate to the Down Under queens.
don't hate to the Down Under queens. No, I like a lot of Down Under queens, just not the ones on TV. No.
Well, maybe
No,
we
no.
can
Hold on.
rephrase the question.
Hold on, Lazy Susan, I worship
Okay.
worship the ground, and also Isis, I worship the ground she walks on. So,
Moxie, who would you
they're
like to see on Drag Down Under then?
Oh my god, there's this queen in Melbourne called Ruby Slippers, who would be sick, amazing. Yeah.
That would be amazing. All right, do we have any other questions? Up the back there.
Who's your Snatch Game character?
I've had a few, right? So I'd want to do like Val Garland or J.K. Rowling. What was the other one? I forget. Oh, I could do J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man. Yeah, I really like him. But yeah, I guess those are the ones. Oh, Mr. Bean. I'd love to be Mr. Bean. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yep.
What do you think the biggest barrier to queer people engaging with the queer scene in some of our big capitals is?
Ooh, what's the biggest barrier
what's the biggest
to
barrier?
accessing queer content?
So I kind of skimmed over it, but cost of living is fucking us over pretty hard. But there's a lot of like discounts and a lot of like cheaper alternatives to shows going around at the moment. But also like there's a bit of like what's the word? People can get lost in the sauce, you know. We all want to party and we all want to find our people, but, you know, just because you're XYZ doesn't mean you're not welcome here. Like, it should be like, you're XYZ, of course you're welcome here. So I think there's a bit of, like, cost of living, but also, like, getting lost in the sauce and the culture war of it all, you know.
Yeah, that's so true. Do we oh, we can clap for that. Go. Yes. Ooh, that's a good question. What's the difference between your drag king and drag queen performances?
So my drag king performances back in the day were honestly not that much different to my drag queen performances. Like, it was very much burlesque, very lip syncy, very silly. But nowadays, like, when I do drag king, it's a character. So I do a Spider-Man act, and the rest are kind of drag queen acts and more drag king stuff, TBA, you know. Yeah.
Do we have any more questions for Moxie? Okay, got one over here, and then maybe we'll go down here, and then we'll give her a break. But up the back there. I love that question. What are your pearls of wisdom for any maybe teenage trans people wanting to go into drag?
I guess I'd start off with, like, there is a space and a community for literally all trans people. And also that now that we live in the world of the internet, there truly is, like, so many resources out there for, like, this is how you do a wig, a makeup, a lip sync. But also just, like, looking into the local creators and also following, like, inquiring with local libraries and stuff like that about, like, who's running the all ages friendly events nowadays. I would say, yeah, but, like, yeah, start off with, like, there truly is a community for every and all trans person.
Yeah, that's such an important message. We'll go last question here.
Mine's really lighter. What's your inspiration for tonight's outfit?
Ooh, what's your inspo for this outfit?
I wanted to be a bug, but like, when I was living in my last home, I encountered mold for the first time, and that I'm deathly scared of it now. Like, I see it and it spooks me, and I want to turn something spooky into something fun. So
I thought that was going to go to, like, this is mold from my last apartment. These are, like, curtains or something.
I just left it. I just left it at a
We need to bring
groove.
Felicia back and tell you about this.
No, yeah, I'm deathly afraid of mold. Yeah.
I have the very last question because I'm a bit selfish like that. How long does it take all of this to come together?
So I'm really bad now. Like, I'll procrastinate to the last minute and do this in, like, 30 minutes if I have to.
Oh my God.
But, like, But on average, it's like an hour-ish.
That's pretty bloody impressive.
I'm really fast now. It's bad.
Yeah. All right. With that, we'll give Moxie a break, but she'll be hanging around for the rest of the night. So if you have any other questions, please grab her during the breaks. But please, give it up for Moxie. Woo!